These are real lands. They've been cultivated a very long time. For me, it's rich in the culture and the wildlife. You can't put a value to that.
Growing up in agriculture, obviously, it's a full-time job, 365 days a year, and you try to understand what drives that and why do you want to work so hard. And I think it is just seeing nature and being out in the hay meadows every day that's satisfying.
And I just think it's remarkable that we're a pivotal stopover point for birds that could be starting in South America and then breeding in Alaska. And it's really important to be able to stop at some place where they can get a lot of protein or a lot of seed. It's different food sources in order to fuel up to be able to move on their migratory routes.
These habitats are all 100% connected. We've got the state lines in there. Animals don't pay attention to that state line. So between the river corridor and even the terrestrial connections and movement patterns and everything else, I mean, we're one with New Mexico.
The Middle Rio Grande consists of urban and rural communities. It's the most populated part of New Mexico, but yet there's still a lot of farmland left. It's this little rivulet of water we call the Rio Grande.
That's a question of scale. So as a federal land manager, you have these little pockets of habitat that you can manage, but there's the scale of the San Luis Valley and then the scale of going into New Mexico or north on a flyway. And all of that question of scale is what we're finding to be very challenging because of fragmentation.
It feels like it's more important than ever to protect our farms. Our lands are the connectivity between all these refuges.
We're on my father's farm here in Tomé, New Mexico, about 30 miles south of Albuquerque. We are the river. That there's few of us we're mimicking what the river used to do a long time ago.
The methods of irrigation along the river, we flood irrigate quite a bit. Obviously, that creates wetland areas and ebb and flow, and the menagerie of plants and animals can utilize that ground as well. And we still get to utilize the hay for the cows in the winter, and they can still graze it all other parts of the year. Conservation easements have been around quite a bit. That's in our thinking of how we can buy this ranch and make it pay for itself and be sustainable for our family operation. The easements tie the water to the land, and that's a good thing.
I developed it the way my father would have wanted to be developed, I think. And the land's not gonna have a house on it, and birds can land there, and there it is, just a nice, big, beautiful easement. And I just water it like I've always watered it, farm it like I've always farmed it. There's no difference.
I think the magnitude of the issue right now with lack of water and long-term drought has driven and it has necessitated crucial time of finding win-win solutions.
Just like anything, it's important to get along with your neighbors and respect what they're trying to do as well as what we're trying to do. And we're all on the ditch boards together. And so it's kind of a collaborative approach to managing the land, and that helps everybody.
Once we have an easement, we work with our partners to implement more conservation on those lands. You've already developed that relationship and that trust, and we meet with landowners annually when we do the monitoring. It's an opportunity to inform them about other conservation opportunities. And their conservation ethic continues to grow, and all these other layers of conservation are put on the land. It's just a domino effect. Then the neighbors see, oh wow, they got rid of all their salt cedar, and now they have big cottonwoods growing there.
We want to be passing this on to the next generation, and we will optimize the production of the land, but then also when you optimize that, you're optimizing a lot of things for the wildlife, for the river health, for the fish, for everything else. So you just have to find that balance, what works the best, and how you can be sustainably with profits and with the environmental impacts.
This is my granddaughter. She's the only Garcia girl. She's gonna have land. I'm gonna make sure she does. What can you leave behind for the next generation? I don't have a vision to see what the future is going to hold, but it's going to be different.